Okay, so this is the Father's Day video.
Lights, camera, action!
Good job, Ricky. All right, guys, so I thought it would be cool because Father's Day is coming up here in 2 weeks to just give you guys some unique ideas for your dad, your grandpa, whatever, who's an outdoorsman or a hunter. They're things that I use all the time, guys. So I'm just gonna jump right in here. Every outdoorsman in my mind needs to have one of these truck booster products, right? Okay, this is the NOCO Boost. They're like $100. Even though like this one, it says it won't start like this diesel truck, as long as you don't run the battery down there like below, 11.5 volts or something, this little packet right here will even start a big diesel truck. You can't throw dirt on the camera. The other one, I've mentioned in a bunch of other videos, but just an inReach, okay? So you always have communication, satellite-based communication when you're out in the mountains. That's a great gift for the father in your life, right? So the options are the inReach. These little guys are going to cost you $300 or $400. There's also the Zoleo, which is I think a couple $100. Very similar. Essentially, you Bluetooth them to your phone, and then you can just satellite text message, all right? And then the plans vary, but really you're looking like $15 to $65 per month. And to me, for peace of mind, where somebody always has communication, that's an awesome gift. This one I'm gonna show you guys, no spill lid. You can find them on Amazon. That's the one you want. Now with all the EPA standards and stuff for gas cans, and every guy that's up in the mountains, he's gonna have a gas can in the back of his truck or on his four-wheeler or side-by-side or whatever. All those specific EPA regulated nozzles, they leak and they're horrible to use. These things are awesome. Basically, just stick that in to whatever you're fueling up and push the button, and it works every time and they don't leak. I love these things. So you'll see them marketed as like no spill lids. There's a patent on them, so you got to get them. You got to get the right one, but you'll see them. They're going to be like $20-25. All right, guys. So sticking on this theme of just like preparation for the outdoorsman or hunter. Went through the boost pack for charging a dead battery or whatever. Went through communication for emergencies. The other big ones, if the guy that you're buying gifts for, if he's ever hauling a trailer, one of these tire changing ramp for a trailer, these things are awesome. And the thing about it is, like, if you got a really heavy trailer, or if you're just on some back road and you don't want to jack up the trailer, it's easy to carry these around, because on any dual axle trailer, which almost all trailers are going to be, even small ones that are hauling four-wheelers and stuff, a lot of them are dual axle. You can just pull up one axle onto this ramp right here, and you can just go ahead and change the spare on the other side. It's a lifesaver for guys, and they're gonna run you like $50-60, but an awesome gift. If guys are hauling really heavy trailers, they're spectacular because you don't have to jack up that really heavy trailer. I always had one when I was hauling a bunch of horses when I was outfitting, because it's almost impossible to jack up a loaded trailer with a bunch of horses in there, and you've got them moving around and stuff. It's kind of scary. So these ramps are spectacular for that. This is really an item. If your husband or dad or grandfather is the type of guy that kind of tinkers a flesh and beam, if they do some hunting, they're actually gonna really like it, okay? So here's mine. This is just a Michigan trap line flesh and beam. You can find them online. They're $40-50. It's basically just a piece of wood, but it is specialized in some regard because it's shaped a certain way, and it's a nice hardwood, right? You can see this one, I've fleshed a ton of bears and other animals on it, elk hides, that sort of thing. So you can see actually the grease has actually discolored it, but you can see that's the color of it when they're new or close to new, okay? That's a great gift for a guy that tinkers and he's a hunter, right? Because if he goes out and harvests a deer, harvests an elk, harvests a bear, he can actually just go online and learn about fleshing on his own, and he can flesh that hide on the beam and salt it, and then send it into one of the tanneries. So with the fleshing beam that I mentioned, this is a Necker 600, a fleshing knife. And again, this is really good for guys that you think are kind of tinkers and would like to flesh and salt and process their own hides. You'll know if that's the guy you're buying it for. I think you're gonna have a good feel for that, and you're gonna know if that's not something they do. But the one that all the trappers use, and it's very held in high regard, is the is these Necker knives. This happens to be the Necker 600. And kind of one of the differences is how the knife is ground. So one side is relatively dull, and that's really for pushing flesh and fat off of hides, whereas the other knife is actually ground where you can keep it sharp, okay? And that's more for actually cutting into the fat and in the flesh and starting it, and then you can push it with the other side of the knife, okay? So they're nice knives. They are gonna be, you know, $80 or $90, which is on the higher end for a fleshy knife, but a nice gift for a guy that might wanna get into. All right, so another one on kind of the game processing front is a little bird beak knife, okay? So this is, most guys don't have one of these. This is just a little cheap Victorinox one. These are gonna be like $15. You can get a nice stainless steel one with a nice handle. It's gonna cost you like $25, $30. But if a guy does any of his own processing, like even pulling elk skulls out of a cape or anything like that, a bird beak's super nice, like getting around the lips, getting in the teeth to pull that back as you work a cape off of a skull. These are huge. If your husband or father, grandfather, whatever, processes his own bears, they're awesome. Like when you're going in and pulling out paws, one of these bird beaks is a super cool tool to have, and most guys don't have them. The next one, guys, is a sewing kit, okay? This is mine. It's a little bit of a disaster, to be honest with you. It's disorganized, but you can find these everywhere online. And a lot of you are gonna be like, that doesn't seem like a Father's Day gift at all, a sewing kit. And you guys out there are gonna laugh too. But honestly, again, it's kind of one of those things that a guy, if he's got a sewing kit in his hunting gear bag, you know, or in the closet that, you know, has got piles of duck decoys and elk bugles and all of his other shit in there. If he's got a sewing kit in there too, a lot of guys will go on YouTube, learn how to do basic stitches, and then they can repair, you know, their favorite hunting pants, their favorite hunting jacket, their favorite hunting hat. And guys get attached to these things. There's guys that have the same gear for, you know, for decades in terms of their clothing. So having a nice sewing kit, and again, you're gonna know the type of guy that's gonna do this. I personally use my sewing kit all the time and repair stuff that I wanna keep forever and keep using. So ever since I did the video on why guys quit on hunts, I get a lot of requests for more videos on the mental part of the whole you know, mountain hunting game, right? And I actually think one of the best things you can do is read books where guys were put into really trying situations. So I think a great gift is this book right here. It's Endurance. It's about the Shackleton voyage in Antarctica, and any outdoorsman or hunter can learn a ton of just in terms of what those guys went through mentally to get through it all, and they all magically survived, which is pretty spectacular. But it's an awesome book. You can get it in an audio version for your husband or father or grandfather, or you can get the paperback version. I think the audio version is like 30 bucks or something like that. The paperback version I think is like 25 bucks. So I put up an elk hunting fitness video recently, and I talk about core strength. So one of the easiest tools for working on your core, and it doesn't have a huge learning curve, kettlebells, okay? So that's gonna be my next suggestion for any hunter out there, but you know, particularly the mountain guys. You know, one of these kettlebells, you know, they're pretty handy. They don't take up a lot of space. And if a guy gets where he can just do swings, he's gonna build up that core, and he's gonna be able to prepare for hunts, particularly backpack hunts, where he's having to use his core just to balance and cruise around the mountains, okay? You can get one of those off of Amazon. I suggest, you know, your average guy, you know, your guy that's 150 pounds to 220 pounds, and he's got some level of fitness, but he's just working into it. You know, get a kettlebell that's in there from like 30 to 40 pounds to start with. And those on Amazon are gonna cost you like 45 bucks. This suggestion is really driven by my viewers. I'm amazed how many guys comment on the wool that I'm wearing in the videos. And I'm kind of, I guess over the years, like become a connoisseur of what I would call like heirloom wool. The reality is I've just accumulated it. I personally have never bought any directly. It's either been given to me as a gift or handed down to me. But this stuff is pretty cool, guys. And I get tons of comments. People ask me about it when I wear it. So there must be at least, you know, some interest from a fair amount of outdoorsmen and hunters. So this one, guys, you see this in a lot of my videos, and it's funny when I pick it up, okay? Because it's super dirty. It's literally, it's like an old mule saddle blanket in terms of like the dirt and the smell. in it, and that's because I worked in it, okay? For years, I would use this in the winter. It's very warm, and this is a King of the Mountain wool jacket, and this jacket is probably like 25 years old, right? And I've only had it for maybe 15 years of that. It was given to me, but it's a great jacket, and I would say like it lasts a lifetime. The thing about it, guys, is this jacket right here new is gonna be 500 bucks. I think at least, if not more. It's kind of a cold weather jacket. I used it a lot when I was packing, just riding horses up in the mountains and dragging out elk. I would wear that jacket a lot. It's real functional, very warm, functional, comfortable, and I think that people like the look of it, including myself. So that's a King of the Mountain jacket. Okay, the other type of wool that you'll see that I think is a pretty cool gift are what are called Cowichons, and these are the type of sweater a lot of people associate them with, like Big Lebowski sweaters, but these sweaters were actually made by Northern Native Americans, and originally they were actually made by using dog hair. Right now they're just made by using wool, but this is a really classic kind of one here. I think it's pretty cool. An outdoorsman and guys that are, in the outdoors and that kind of stuff, they kind of like this stuff, guys. So here's one here you might like. Here's another version. It's a little bit different type of design. Doesn't have like that Native American look or whatever. But this is actually a company called Bullbucker produces these. You can put them on. You can go online and look. It's a small little company. The guy actually has a YouTube channel. Canadian. These are about $100, and they're cool. They're comfortable, and I think fathers would like those, particularly outdoorsy guys. And that other one there, probably $150, $200. Those Cowichons, they can be really expensive. I mean, they can be $500, $600. On that wool stuff, just keep in mind that it's pretty rugged. I used mine when I was working in kind of a dirty environment around horses and mules all the time, and they hold up. And I think that stuff should be used that way. Like, guys should view it as like that one jacket, that's really my truck jacket. When I'm cold, regardless of how dirty it is or whatever, I put that jacket on, even though it's a $500 jacket, and it holds up. That's what that stuff's for. Those are really like heirloom pieces of clothing. If you've already got a vacation booked for Hawaii, Florida, the Caribbean, something like that, look at the options there for little day adventures that your husband or father might like, right? What you'll find in a lot of these places is those little hunting trips. So we're talking about like iguana hunting in Florida or Puerto Rico. We're talking about, going alligator hunting in Florida, stuff like that. Going on a little spear fishing, half day trip. Or if you're in Hawaii, going on an axis deer hunt, going on a feral goat hunt, a pig hunt. A lot of those are less than $1,000, and guys will really appreciate those. If you've already got a week travel, in some area where those options are around, those are super fun hunts and usually fairly inexpensive. Wyatt, what do you bumped your head on the thing? What are you doing? Wyatt, Wyatt, get away from the camera, dude.
Happy Father's Day!